All right, we'll start this week's market update with the load board postings. We got a little bit of increase right here at the end. I'd say that's not going to get above that trend line until after the first of next year. You can see the big spike here, harvest, as well as there's some fertilizer and stuff moving. This big spike last January, so I'd suspect that we'll have some of that coming up here in the future. For now, I say they're probably going to be pretty stagnant with load numbers. That's going to make things really competitive amongst carriers. Um, Make sure you keep good contact with your shippers and brokers that you usually use. There'll be a lot of help right now when stuff's hard to find. Looking at the load by origin trend, as you can see over here in the west, south, and east, we're seeing a little bit of growth. In the south, the big one is Texas. Majority of those loads are coming out of and going into Texas. We'll see a little bit of that more on the other slide next. Central has seen another drop. And again, on this next slide, you'll see Iowa had a big drop in the number of loads coming out of there. So that'll be something to expect if you're in Iowa right now. It'll be difficult to get out of. Quite a few loads coming into that area, but just not a whole lot going out. We'll go over to that slide real quick. So you can see here once again that Iowa area. You can definitely tell that there's not a lot coming out of there. Um, a lot of that stuff product is staying in Iowa. Uh, Using that with the pork up there, a lot of the bean meals and stuff like that that's being produced is being used right there. So it's not a whole lot of long hauls that'll show up on the spot market there. A big one that I always look at recently is Pennsylvania. Uh, it's been having a pretty big jump coming in and out of uh, its location there between the Great Lakes in Canada and the ports there on the coast. Really make it a big spot for commerce. There's a lot of scrap coming out of there from the manufacturing, a lot of stuff jumping on rail headed south, and trucks headed into the southeast. For the poultry production, chickens, turkeys, a whole bunch of stuff like that. Uh, Once again, Texas here just makes up the majority of the loads in the South, just for sheer volume of the state and how much agriculture is there. You're going to see a lot more of that. We'll keep a better eye on this, especially coming up. We'll see the changes in the loads by origin and destination. That's a big thing to look at. With our load board, as you guys know, being bulk commodities, this central United States, that's going to be the bread and butter. So if you're in that area, you're usually not going to have as much trouble finding loads in and out of, but the rates are going to be a little bit cheaper just for every farmer and every trucking company's got a hopper just in their fleet. When times get slow, there's something to pick up and keep a truck busy, keep a driver in a seat instead of him looking for other work. As we all know, the driver shortage. If you can keep a driver busy, you'll have plenty of drivers want to work for you. The contract work, and then it slows off towards the end of the contracts. Guys aren't in a seat as much, getting paid by the mile. You'll definitely see them start looking for other opportunities elsewhere. And with the economy the way it is, a lot of the shippers and brokers have started moving towards a private fleet instead of hiring outside owner operators and other companies like that. So if you don't have as much capacity you can haul, it's definitely a big thing to keep busy and keep that driver that you've hired on uh, uh, putting miles on the truck to keep them busy, keep them with you, and loyal to your business. Um, the other thing here, diesel fuel prices saw a little bit of a increase last week, except for California and the East Coast. Those were minimal decreases. They pretty much stayed the same. So before the holiday weekend, a little bit of a jump there. Still a little bit difference from last year. I'd say that'll keep going. Looking at the beginning of the year, I'd expect that to be the same. Uh, Last week we talked about rates for next year. I'd say we'll stay around that $3.50 mark. Uh, pretty much across the board, barring our new president making any big changes that'll shake up things. Let's hope that'll drive some stuff down there. Uh, Move on here. So a big thing, like I've said in the past, my grandfather used to be a truck driver. The big thing for him was always where's the snow out west, especially this time of year. You can see the Rockies are having quite a bit of snow here. Uh, no one loves chains or anything like that. The Rocky Mountains here is seeing quite a bit of snow recently. In New England states off the Great Lakes there have seen some too. Everything I've seen for the next coming week for the holiday is supposed to be pretty clear. Some flurries across the United States, a little wet, so you can get some rain out there. It'll be dreary if you're out next week, for sure. Another big thing with people traveling for the holidays, I know there's a lot of people in our office that'll be out traveling to other states. That's a lot of drivers on the road that don't know where they're going. They're not used to the roads around you. We've talked about it in the past how big uh, the crashes and fatalities and injuries, which really affect insurance, increases with other motor or other passenger vehicles. So more people not knowing where they're going, lollygagging, kids in the car. Be very defensive in your driving this coming week. Keep safe. I put a little stat up here showing the driving fatalities during Christmas and New Year's during that week. So if you're in those states, Kansas, West Virginia, uh, keep an eye out. Be safe. To go along with that, if you're not going to be out on the road and you're having festivities, uh, CDL puts you at risk for severe fines if you're caught impaired driving and stuff like that. So if you have the opportunity, get a ride home. Uh, uh, Maybe hold off and let the wife have a few drinks. That's something to be very wary of. That can be career ending in a lot of cases. With our insurance agency here, that is a huge thing. If you've got a driver with a DWI, your chances for insurance are few and far between, and what they are, they're going to be expensive. So keep safe before you get a drink. Make sure that you are thinking about how you're going to get home. We'll end off grain, fertilizer, and feed ingredients saw a little bit of a decrease in rates. Uh, that's shows on that first couple of graphs. Load numbers have dropped a little bit, so it's a little more competitive for the shippers and brokers on that side. Uh, I don't see any increases in this for the first little bit. Maybe February, March, April before we start to see a little bit of an increase, a little more fertilizer moving. New president, get some economic stimulation. It spooks me a little bit. I saw the Fed is not going to cut rates as many times. The Dow saw a huge decrease yesterday, so consumer spending may be a little bit more stunted than we had expected just because of those things. But I'm optimistic we'll see some growth. Um, Interest rates still lower than they were, so maybe we'll see some people spending some money, getting some stuff moving around, uh, and maybe some new trade deals that'll get us some advantages throughout the world and with our neighbors in Canada and Mexico as well. Uh, that's all I've got for this week. Have a Merry Christmas. If you have anything you'd like to see coming up from the first of the year, please let me know. Open to suggestions, and uh, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.